Yep. Okay. I'm saying that we need a lot of work among ourselves in regards to dealing with our freedom. I can truly say I do not believe that we know what freedom is. Our struggle has been a civil rights type struggle, and they came in from the United Nations, which brings on a completely different struggle. We need to orientate ourselves with the laws, regulation, rules, and structure and procedure of the United Nations. And we also need to earmark, knowing we're in the jurisdiction of United States of America, but they are in the jurisdiction of the United Nations. So we can oversee our arguments in these courts, but we have to shower those complaints with our human rights, not civil rights. We will never win. We'll never win by using civil rights. Go ahead, Bev.
Okay, so that's what the problem was with the people that was there. They was focusing on civil rights and not the human rights.
Let me say now this is coming from me.
Yes.
Okay, coming from me, Ron Marsh.
Okay. You was there. You was our eyes and ears that was there at the meeting.
Yes. And what I saw, their mindset was in the civil rights era or jurisdiction rather than the human rights. And the repertoires, two ladies, stopped the meeting twice, once on Saturday and twice on Sunday, to explain to the people that you got to stay on specifics, human rights violations. And we need to get it in writing so when they go back to New York, they have paperwork to show, prove, and hand in that we're catching hell in Detroit. And that was, to me, that was very difficult for my people to understand.
Mm-hmm.
They were there more with complaints. You know, they turned my water off. They did this to me. They did that to me. My cousin, they came and took her to jail because of this and because of that. All of that is good, but that's more in the civil rights jurisdiction and the criminal jurisdiction of the United States rather than the total violation of the United Nations that they can help us with. Now, the two ladies understood this clearly. They knew what they were doing, and I'm proud of them. I'm glad that they were sent because I could see they knew what they were doing. One of them had 6 years seniority, and the other one had 10 years seniority, and they've been all over the world. And if you Google UN in Detroit, you're going to see article after article where both of them said they have never seen such a man-made storm. They call it a storm, a perfect storm that was created by the officials in Detroit. It has never been seen across the world what they're doing to the less fortunate, poor, underclass people that live in Detroit. They said it over and over and over. Okay? Now, I'm looking at a news article right now where the news media in Detroit News, attempted to show that they were rowdy, ruthless, and very angry down there. And the lady they interviewed, she was given the complaint, and they put the microphone in her face, and they interviewed her. Her name was Barbara Rosa. She was a Mexican nationality, but she said that the women, Barbara Rosa said she didn't blame her neighbors for their actions, talking about the people that were down there. If you treat people like an animal, you can only expect them to behave like animals. And that's what the atmosphere was. Most of the people had been misused by the officials at the water department. They had shut their doors in their face. They made them stand outside in the rain, wouldn't let them come in. The seniors on crutches and all of that, they were trying to get in. They wouldn't let them in. When they started the water stations across Detroit, they set up what they called water stations when the Native Americans drove trucks down from upper Michigan and to bring water. The officials in Detroit sent the SWAT teams out to those water stations to just intimidate, stand around with loaded guns and pistols and tear gas, standing around just to intimidate the people that were trying to get water to take home. They even show us pictures of people going to their neighbors. As soon as they get off work, they go to their neighbors with their buckets and barrels and bottles, and the neighbors would give them water to carry home just to flush the toilets. So the complaint and the anger was definitely there.
Okay.
And I was trying to explain to my brothers, the Moors, that we need to help those people rather than criticize that they were not Moors and or they were not organized, because they had never experienced anything like that. And since you, quote unquote, Moor, you know so much, why don't you go over there and help them out, explain it to them, and work from that perspective? So I'm saying it again, and I knew 6 months ago that I had to change my agenda in Detroit and move to another level, and now I see why I got to go to that level, because we need to organize from a different perspective.
Yes.
So we can understand what freedom is all about.
Right.
It was real refreshing for me to be there.
Mm-hmm. This is what you have been teaching and talking about over the last few months on here and for years.
Yes. Yes. And this is why I was having. I don't want to start throwing a blame around, but when you're talking to people with a civil rights concept,
yes,
and it's difficult for them to understand what I'm saying. All sounds good, but they want their freedom right now. Now, one of the people on the panel, John Conyers, I got some pictures here. John Conyers and Gerald Simmons were on the panel Sunday.
Now, who is Simmons?
He's a city a political advocate in the city, and he runs some organizations downtown. I can't really tell you what he does, but he's always he used to be in Drum, or probably still is, but he's a League of Revolutionary Worker brother, and he's always been fighting for rights for the people. And he was on the panel up front next to John Conyers. I'm looking at him. The panel, there was several people from Highland Park City Council were there. It was, and then we had a guest from, where was he from? I'm looking at him. Virginia, West Virginia. He came up and brought water up. He was explaining to the people that we need to unite across the color line, race line, and unite to fight this problem, because everybody's catching hell from it, and they, the enemy, the corporations, are trying desperately to divide and conquer and put a split between the groups so that they don't unite on a particular issue. So I'm looking at all of this, and I'm saying to myself, we got a lot of work to do. These two ladies were very professional, Bev. They sit there for hours listening to complaints, and I had a couple of my students up there that I had checked several times in class about their positions and their attitudes and who was what, and they were this, and they had nerve to come down there and start the same crap. I was like a school teacher. I should have had a ruler and smacked them right upside the head. Go sit down somewhere.
You wanted them to set an example of how it's supposed to have been done.
Yes, Bev. Yes. If we know so much, if we're better than them, if we can sit back and say, well, we're sovereign and they're not, they are ignorant and we're not, okay, let's go with that premise. So now the next question is, what are you going to do to help them? Okay?
Right.
How can they get to where you are? You only got here because somebody reached and got you. So now what makes you think you're so much better than them? But as I said that, my mind flashed back to 1928, 1925, when Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, and all of those heavyweights back in the day, Noble Drew Ali and all of them, were trying to organize the brothers, and they ran into the same problem. And this is why they can divide and conquer us, because they know how to reach into our ranks and lure these people out and start new programs that will always come back to haunt the entire program. We need an organization that cannot be dissolved because we got one or two, let's call them idiots. No, let's not call them idiots. One or two eager beavers that want their freedom right now. You dig? See, we got a problem today, Beth. If you compare our condition today back when it was at integration time and a little bit into segregation time. I'm old enough to see all of that. At my age, I've seen segregation era, I saw integration era, and now I'm into a whole new ball game of all of those. And I can tell you one thing that's definitely different today than then, and that is we got more black millionaires, we got more black movie stars, we got more black rappers, we got more black football players, basketball, more black, and they're just as dumb as hell. They know nothing. So what they're doing is feeding this civil rights hunger, and they're pitting those against their own kind. You get it?
Yeah. Well, most people, that's all they know is the civil rights. They don't know about the human rights unless they're listening to or go to one of your classes or someone else that's talking that.
But the Moors know the difference. That's my argument.
Okay.
The Moors know the difference between human rights and civil rights. So why aren't they helping me help them to understand? Can you get that?
Yeah, because it should have been maybe some workshops or something before the UN got here to explain things to the people.
Yes.
About human rights. So when they got
yes.
there, they all would have been right on top of everything.
Yes. And if you read the Declaration of Human Rights, and I'm going to bring it up. If I can get it right now, I'm going to bring it up. And the Declaration of Human Rights has 20. Let's see if I can find it. I got it in my favorite, so it should be here to come up. I don't see it right now. I'll get it. And when you get to the Declaration of Human Rights, it gives you 32 articles that should be studied, and I mean studied. Each article, we all suffer from 32 violations of our human rights, and we don't even use them. You get it?
Right.
I'm rushing trying to do this. This new program we got is pretty good in that it can there you go. Get it out of the way. It can give you information right quick, and then maybe if I get it up right, I can show it to you, and you can see it on my website. But anyway, there are 32 articles in this Human Rights Declaration, and I just put it in here last night, so I just got to find it. And anyway, what happens is you can use those rights as you file your complaints downtown, because we still got to fight City Hall. As you file your complaints downtown, you should be putting into your complaints the violations of your human rights. Now when they come, see, they threw a monkey wrench. I didn't tell you this.
Okay.
I passed out and I read on the air with you the United Nations Civil Rights Complaint. I told everybody how to go online, pull it up, fill it out,
right.
get ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, after they had several meetings with the city came up and said that all human rights complaints must be attached to the city and the Michigan human rights departments. Everybody said, we never knew that. And they said, well, the United Nations cannot come in unless they completely destroy or exhaust, not destroy, exhaust all of the avenues of freedom that are already set up in the system. You know, it's almost like you on the job and you have trouble with your supervisor, and you go downtown and file a civil rights complaint against the company. So the company goes to court and say, what we down here for? Beverly said that her supervisor called her a bad name. So they look at Beverly, look at the supervisor, and look at the court and say, we don't know nothing about that. We're not on record to receive any information like that. We can easily call Beverly a lie. But we wouldn't do that in court when we don't really know what she's talking about. Now the court's got to reprimand you, Beverly, for not going through the chain of the business to get it to the top so that none of them can say they didn't know. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So when I'm doing my business and working with people with complaints, I tell them the same thing. If you got a police officer that's harassing you, you need to, and you're going to make a complaint. That's very good. But you need to send the complaint to the mayor and the chief of police. And then you send his butt to court and file the charges against him in court, so that the mayor and the chief cannot say, well, we didn't know. We thought he was on vacation that week, or we're going to reprimand him in-house, all that old stuff that they can do. But when I tell people, you got to do it a little bit different. Oh, they ain't gonna do nothing anyway. Well, what kind of answer is that? Do you want help or not help? I'm telling you what you got to do. Well, we don't know. We don't. All right, man, get out of here. You know, there's no sense of even filing your complaint. So it's the same way with these governments. United Nations cannot come into Detroit and tell everybody what to do and save these black folks. That's Negro mentality, where you think Jesus or somebody in a white horse is going to come in here and save your ass. That will never happen. You got to do the work yourself, and you got to know how to do it, and you got to want to know if you want to be free. I mean, it's simple to me, but it's difficult when you try to tell somebody and they're going to tell you, well, they ain't going to do nothing anyway. Well, then shut up. Be a good slave and keep your mouth shut and go on pick cotton. That's what you do, because you ain't ready for freedom anyway. Yeah, go on back to church and pray. That might set you free. So that's what the ladies was saying. So now when we go to the city say they're all out. You can go online and get it. So we go online and get it. Guess what it said online, Beth? What? I'm going to give you 1,000 guesses, and the first 999 and a half don't count. It said the website was down from mechanical problems.
That's how they do it in Detroit. They play dirty. Yes. That's how they do it.
So now here's the people mad as hell, and they screaming. I knew they wasn't gonna do it right. They don't have to do. They don't want you to be free. What is wrong with people to think that the slave master wants you to be free and he's gonna help you to get free? Right. I told the Moors that the same thing. I said, well, they know the land belongs to us. They know they treating us bad. They know that we got these rights. Stop. Do you have it on record that they know? No, but you go online and the so-and-so said it in a meeting and blah. It's not going to get it. You got to have it online in your name or on paper in your name with an affidavit, sworn affidavit that this is what happened to you, and you want some redress behind it. So Saturday, when I got an opportunity to speak Saturday, after all of this chaos, all of it was not chaos. Don't get me wrong, but most of it was. Okay. I told him right to their face. I looked right at them and asked them a question. I said, all I want to talk to you about is HJR 192. And they said, what is that? I said, well, the United States government filed bankruptcy in 1933. And they took all the gold and silver away from all of its citizens. So we don't have money in the United States. However, with HJR 192, they created what they call United States currency, which is 13 negotiable instruments that can be used to pay bills. And they said, oh, yeah? I said, yes. Now, they will tell you in all of your communication with corporations, pay us in cash, check, or money order. And I said, I can't quote you the violation, but that is a constitutional violation that is said in HJ 192. No one can tell you which species to use to pay your bills. So if they're going to take our money with a promissory note and buy a house, how come we can't pay the house off with another promissory note? So they looked at me like I was come out of the moon. They said, now, get this straight.
Now, who were you talking to?
The two repertoires, the two females.
Okay. From the UN.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And they looked right at me and said, wait a minute. And I said, let me just add one thing. Once they take your promissory note, you could be in the house. You got a 30-year mortgage. You pay for it 10 years. You get behind in payments. They foreclose on you. Your original mortgage was $300,000, $200,000, let's say. So now you paid for it. Made payments for 10 years. But when you come to your sheriff's sale, they're going to put it on the market for the $200,000 that you originally signed for 10 years earlier. And I said they can only do that because they don't have the promissory note because they cashed it 90 days after you signed it. Them women went bonkers. They said, oh, no. And I walked off and got away, and they called me and said, sir, stop. Come back. And I went halfway back. I said, what do you want now? They said, well, explain that. Now, I know I didn't have it on paper, but I'm going to put it on paper. I've already got their address. They told me to send it to them in New York. As soon as I get it on paper, I'm going to do an affidavit and explain exactly how it works, and then tell them they took my house. Mm-hmm. Now, all of these foreclosures in the city, that is a violation of the 25th. That's why I'm looking at trying to get these articles. If I can find it, I can read number 25 to you, and it says that nobody can take your house or home without proper legal this and proper legal that and all kind of stuff. And they doing it. They don't give you an opportunity. They're violating their own laws. You dig it? Right. Now, these are the things that we should have been taken to them at this meeting. Mm-hmm. You dig it? Now, somebody said, well, Ron, what about water? I said, good. All you have to tell them is I was headed, they cut my water off. I was driving to the water company so I would not get it turned off, and I wanted to get there before 4:30. The police officer stopped me and said I was speeding. I told him, you can't stop me if I'm speeding because I'm not driving and that you ain't got nothing to do with what I do when I'm traveling. I have a right by the Constitution of the United States to travel. He ain't going to take that. I'm going to tell you that now. Then you can say, well, on paper, you can say clearly, well, if you in a vehicle without charging a fee, you are traveling. If you're charging a free fee like a bus driver, truck driver, cab driver, jitney driver, those types of persons have to pay taxes and get tickets because they're in commercial affairs. That is attached right there to water. They're violating your rights because they taxed you a bill before you got to the water company, which is a violation of your 13th Amendment because they're creating a tax that's an undue, unjust tax because there was no reason for them to give you a ticket. You didn't kill nobody. And then on top of that, you got your water cut off. They said, damn, never thought of that. I said, well, we should have been thinking about it. We could take all of these articles and turn them into UN complaints. Everything is going down the pike in Detroit. Yeah. We need to educate ourselves along those lines, and then we won't have this chaos screaming and ready to kill somebody because they did this and they did that and all kind of stuff like that. So overall, I'm telling you, I enjoyed it. I learned something, and I'm definitely going to change my not my teaching approach, but some of my material when I teach. I'm getting everything to me now is on the human UN level. I'm not going to deal with nothing on that lower level, because once you do, you subject yourself to the lower jurisdiction, and you know you got to lose in battle as soon as you get down there.
Mm-hmm.
You dig it?
Right.
So, yep. So that's what it was all about in a nutshell. A lot of people were talking. I think everybody should go online and pull up. They got videos online. They got articles. Every news outlet, I wouldn't say every, but several news outlets were there.
Okay.
And they were doing their interviews like when they hear something that's interesting, they would follow that person and then get them by themselves and bring out their tape recorders and their microphones and their questions and start dealing with, you dig it, whatever they wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand, and I'm going to have her on. We're going to go and interview this lady tomorrow, who was on the bus. Now, Sunday morning they had a bus ride, Beth.
Okay.
It left downtown, and it went to 6 different homes to let these repertoires go into the houses and see for themselves the problem with the water. Turned on, turned off, handicapped persons, sick persons in bed, that type of thing, which was all good. But there was one lady on the bus that was so upset that they seemed to be taking the route that didn't show Detroit as Detroit really was. So she started raising hell on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand she got pretty loud. So when they got back to the starting point, everybody got off. These news people to her and wanted to know what was her problem and where are these places you're talking about. And she started naming them off, and they said, "Can you take us to it?" She said, "Yeah." That she got in their vans and cars, and she took about 4 cars, and all of them went all over the city. She took them everywhere, showed them all them schools that were tore down and all that kind of stuff. All the houses that been burned out, not good. All that, she did everything. Showed them everything.
Okay.
And I'm going to have her on. So if we get it tomorrow, I'll play it Saturday on my show Saturday.
Okay.
But I'll definitely let people know when we're going to broadcast that. But I made an appointment to be with her tomorrow.
Okay.
So all I can say is a lot came out of this, and the angry people are the how does that news media say it? The good and the bad. They called it the good and the bad. Let me see if I can pull that up again. They were talking about how bad the people were, and then it was good. The title was good and the bad. I can't find it. But anyway, the bad. Here we go. I think this might be it. Nope, that ain't it either. Can't find it. I'll get it back. But the point is, my question is, the bad was overpowered by the good, in my opinion. But I saw the bad. Don't get me wrong. I saw it all. And I tried. Here's where, let me see if I can get this one. The UN, here's the headline. UN pair, that's the 2 ladies. One of them was from Bolivia, and the other one was from, I think, Finland. I'm not sure, but Europe. And it said, water shed off a perfect storm. They said they have never seen anything like it, Beth.
I know they haven't.
That's right.
And they've been across the world.
Yes. They said they've been in third world countries. They've been in rich countries like Japan and all of that, and they had water problems. But they said they have never seen anything like Detroit and the way that it's being handled, regardless of who's at fault. The people are suffering because the water's off. And that's what they went on Monday. Now, you know they went to see the mayor on Monday. Did you know that?
Yes, I saw a news clip, and the one of the representatives from the city was highly upset from whatever the report.
It was all a stage show.
What?
Because the ladies, oh yes, and let me say why I said it. And remember, this is Ron March talking.
Uh-huh.
That white mayor went and got every blackie he could find to flood that room with black people.
Mm.
Now, we're talking propaganda. We're talking war propaganda.
Yeah.
And he had already educated all of them Uncle Remus, good-paid Negroes, what to say. He gave them all the punchlines, what to use. And all of them said the same thing when it got to the conditions of Detroit. They said that these two people seem to have their self-serving agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever heard of such crap? They don't know nobody in Detroit.
Right.
But now they're going to come from all over the world into Detroit and report what they see, and the city downtown calls them self-serving agenda, and they would never look at the facts. So when this guy called me and told me about it, I said, wait, what else could they say? Once you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, what else you going to say?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say I'm sorry because you got caught. You can say, well, I was only getting a crumb out or wasn't no cookies left when I went in there, something like that, to try to make it wasn't you that did it. And then they got these Negroes. That female, Wiley, I think her name is Wiley. She might be the city spokesperson. I don't even know where she comes from. Never heard of her. She shows up when Peckerwood gets elected. Where did that come from? You know, we done had 5 mayors since Coleman Young left. She has not been in the arena at all. But all of a sudden now, she's a voice for Detroit. How can that be?
And don't each mayor get to pick their own propaganda person?
Oh, yes. That's my point.
That's what that is, yeah.
Yeah, that's my point. He had to pick blackies, and he even had to probably hire some blackies to be down there to make it look like these are happy blackies. Now, listen to me, Bev. During the Katrina, I'm turning the wrong way. During Katrina, Venezuela sent people in. United Nations sent people into Louisiana and Mississippi. Cuba sent people in. All of them had medical supplies. They had water and everything. United States told them to get lost because we got everything under control. So the United Nations came in to see, and they set it up where they only met the Negroes that were sent for them to meet.
Right.
You get it? And they were already told what to say.
Mm-hmm.
See, propaganda is a dangerous tool, especially when you're dealing with a lot of ignorant people.
Yeah.
That don't really know and understand warfare.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? If you keep telling the lie over and over, somebody's going to believe that damn lie.
But it seemed like this time around when they came in, they got past the propaganda machine and was able to.
This is why I say I love it, and a lot of the people got on me for saying they ain't going to do nothing. The Moors got on me. I told you they wasn't going to do nothing. They're going to turn the water back on. That's what one of them told me. You don't need any water anyway. If you do, wash your face with it, what you need. Get out of here. Get on with me. Don't even talk to me. All of them just coming around me wanting to know, well, yeah, Ron, you talking about the United Nations. What they going to do for us? The water's still off and all that. I said for them to show up, it's a victory for them to be here.
Yeah.
And they had the freedom. Now, listen to this. This is very important. It's a two-part story. 2009, they came into New York, and they got permission from the president to go certain places, I don't know, in New York. And then they were supposed to go to that neighboring, what's next to it, Virginia, whatever's close to it. They were supposed to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a rainstorm in New York. So when they got to LaGuardia Airport to fly out, all the planes were grounded. Now, they're on a special agenda. Everything's got to be approved before they move. So the blacks that had them come in volunteered through their cars to drive them 8 hours to this new place.
Okay.
You know what they said? We cannot get in your cars and drive nowhere. We have to stay with the agenda. Now, keep that in mind as I give you phase 2.
Okay.
I talked to Maureen and said, since all the news media is playing us down so ugly and won't come and interview with a clear mind, I got connections at the black station, so let me call RJ, the owner, and see if he won't come out and do some interviews.
Right.
Said, beautiful. So I go to RJ, sit down and talk to him. We set up a program. He told me what he could do. And no charge. We're going to do this, do that. Good.
Okay.
I called Maureen back. Maureen said, I'll call you right back. She came back and said no.
Oh, my God.
And I
Why?
said, yes.
Why?
Because they had to call Obama to get the agenda changed.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that had to be put in the agenda when they first sent the agenda there.
Yes.
Okay.
They can't get off the agenda and run into areas that are not on the agenda because now you're spying on another person's property. That's like you say, okay, Ron, I want you to come over, and we're going to feed you in the kitchen, and here's the bathroom. And all of a sudden, I disappear. I'm upstairs in your bedroom. How the hell they get up there? What the hell they doing up there?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay.
See, people don't know all these kind of things.
Right.
I had to laugh. I said, you got to be kidding. She said, Ron, if we call Obama, by the time we catch him and get his approval, he'll probably approve it. But by the time it gets back to us, he'll be back in New York sometime. So we did some other things that worked in the schedule. But just to let you know how things are working, because I said by them showing up, I told people in my class last week before they came, and they was telling me in the class, they ain't going to do nothing. A couple of them burrheads I got in my class, I call them burrheads. They ain't going to do nothing anyway. They do this, they do that. I said, shut up.
Well, why are they in there taking up space and energy?
Taking up my time, space, ain't never got no money for donation, but show up every week and talk, ask more questions than anybody in there. That's why I quit. I said, I can't keep working with these kind of niggas. I just can't keep doing it. It's driving me crazy. Now, if I take a pistol and shoot one of them, then that'll be good. But I don't want to hurt nobody. And you can't embarrass them. I said, just be quiet. If you got a question, put your hand up. But how you going to ask a question? I ain't even started the meeting. Well, I just wanted to say that this, and this. I said, well, nobody cares. What? They didn't come here to hear your problems. They did, and they went down there and did the same thing. They make perfect agents.
Yes,
and they don't even know they're agents. They make perfect agents.
Some of them are.
Yes. Some of them on the payroll. Yes, they are. The worst snitch. A guy told me this a long time ago. What would be if you had a choice of a snitch, man? What kind of snitch would you go out and look for?
If I had to look for a snitch. The snitch got to be the person that's in the area where you want the information from.
Correct. But now, how much are you willing to pay? Whatever it costs to get the information, I'm just throwing that at you, something like that, right?
Yeah.
What if I told you I got a couple of idiots that's so stupid they don't even know they snitches, and they'll go in there and get the information free?
Well, that's basically how it's done. That is basically how it's done.
Yes. Just so they can stand next to somebody. See, when you go on your job, you got them old Negroes on the job that say, well, I can go talk to the boss. Yeah, you can talk to him because you're going to tell on somebody when you get there.
That's right.
How's it going? You know, Rod hit the numbers last night. He hit the numbers again? Yeah, he got that big new car out there. See it there? It is over there.
You're right.
Here comes the boss. I just parked the car. Boss just come in. He said, hey, Ron, I like that big blue Cadillac you got. Where the hell you find out about my blue Cadillac? That nigga done been up there.
You're right.
Oh, baby, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. And we've been stuck with these guys all of our history. We need to learn how to deal with them.
But you know what, Ron?
But they'll produce a new one.
But you know what? It's no surprise because we've been studying under the corporation. So, I mean, what do you expect?
You're totally correct. But if we're going to get free, we got to figure out how we're going to deal with them.
Yes.
And here's what I say. That's why I have trouble with these two. I don't care if you're a snitch, because I will repeat what I'm saying to you. I'll repeat to them. So I ain't that kind. See, you get in trouble. See, let me tell you this. Here in the last 20 years, before 20 years ago, it was a total disgrace to be gay. Maybe 40 years ago. If you was gay, you was ostracized.
That's when you were black.
Black gays.
Yeah.
Okay. But they came up with a position, if you announce you're gay in the beginning, you can live with it. That's what they did in the military. What does it say? Yes to no or some old crap.
Right.
Gay, whatever it is. So they use that same propaganda. Well, when you get a snitch, once you know he's a snitch, tell him anything. It don't matter. Tell him. But now he realizes that the boss don't want to hear it because he done heard Ron come in here and tell me that. So I don't have anything to hide. This makes a difference. Everybody says, Ron, you don't want to tell everybody everything. Why not?
Why not? I mean, you on these airways, and Boss Man is definitely sitting here every Wednesday listening to you. So you don't need no snitch.
As long as they know where I am, they can get any conversation they want. Send that damn drone, that old drone thing they got. Send it up there. Look, they got drones that look like a bird. Put him up in a tree everywhere I go. That drone sitting up there listening to everything I say. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these snitches are having a problem because the boss don't really want to pay them for the information, and they don't want them around him because they look like, I'm telling you, Bev.
Well, they don't have to because they don't need them. We on the airways.
Yep, that's true. That's true. But then you got people like the couple that I'm thinking about that just want to make it look like they know somebody. And then here's the worst thing, Bev. You may have this problem with the things you do. People like to be around you so they can go out and say, oh, I know Beverly D. Oh, yeah. Me and Bev go way back. And you don't even know who the hell they are.
Yeah, you're right.
I get that. Yeah, me and Ron, we was in drum together. It was only 6 of us in drum, and we used the masses when we wanted to make a move. Wasn't no membership. If I say we walking out, I don't care if you're going to walk out to go see your girlfriend and your wife don't know about it. You're going to walk out and go get a drug a deal or something like that. I don't care. I'm walking out because of conditions. Now, you're going to leap on the bandwagon and go, I don't care. So what difference does it make? We shut the plant down. Everybody come out. You dig?
Right.
So, I've been there. I think I know too much, Bev.
Well, this is like our tradition. We always got our information from the elders.
We have always been, our downfall is, and I hate to use the word, but I got to use it to tell the story. We have never been unified. Okay? But the problem is we cannot unify. We cannot. There's got to be another structure. Granny and your daddy had the structure because Granny would tell Daddy to keep that boy out of trouble, and that boy's going to be out of trouble. But Granny's kicking Daddy's butt. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. She kept the whole March family intact. All of my uncles, every one of them was scared of their mama, grandma, my grandmother, their mama. Every one of them was scared of her. Whatever she told them to do, they did. When them wives got in trouble, they come and see Grandma. Grandma said, what did he do? And they tell him. He said, oh, shoot. Tell him I want to see him tomorrow. He know he in trouble. Well, Mama, she did it. I don't want to hear it. You ain't going to treat that woman like that. If you got a problem, get a divorce. Go out this way. Do it. Stuff like that.
Right.
But we don't have that anymore. like we into something. Little kids coming out of school talking about I'm gonna be a basketball player. Do you realize, Bev? Now I know you know what I'm talking about. Do you realize there's only 580 professional athletes in sports? let's make it 1,000. Let's make it 1,000. Let's make hockey, baseball, basketball, football. What else is out there? Whatever else. You know, you only got so many people on the team to do it. It's only a certain number. Now, every year in schools, 18,000 graduates come out, males, that say they're going to play NBA basketball. and most of them, out of 18,000, 9,000 don't even have education because they were so good, they just pushed them through the classes.
Right.
NBA ain't going to put up with that trash. And they talking about it now. They got that boy down in Florida, quarterback. He runs around. Oh, Lord, he's the biggest idiot you ever want to see. He jumped up on the table in the middle of the cafeteria and sang a rap song that was talking about the women's private parts and screaming and carrying on. they had to yank him off the table. He jumped up on the cafeteria table. The quarterback, Bev.
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't the only thing he did, but that's one of the latest things he done. So we know he's out to lunch.
You could tell he didn't have grandma.
Yeah, you got that right. You got that right.
Ron, we have some calls. You want to take some calls?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, why don't we take a? Well, yeah. Come on, let's take a few, and then we'll take a break.
Okay. Area code 313-918. Okay.
Take a break.
Okay. 313-918. 918.
Greetings.
Can you?
Hello.
Do you have
a
question or comment?
And Ron, how are you doing?
Great.
We're good. I'm good, sister. How are you?
I'm well. This is Chavivi calling from Detroit. And
yes,
Ron, I have a question for you, Ron, regarding the UN coming to Detroit. I just want to know,
all right,
why is it that Maureen was picking certain people to get up and give their story?
You want an answer?
Yes.
Maureen Taylor.
She picked certain people to get in line to tell their story, and when other people was allowed to get in line to speak, she went in the line and personally picked out people she did not want to speak.
Yes. Now, here's the answer. I've known Maureen almost all of her life. She has socialistic ideas and network ideology. She is a socialist, not a revolutionary. Definitely knows nothing about sovereignty. And every more I see, I tell them that before they go, I'm going to go see Maureen. No. You don't know how to handle her. Leave her alone. She knows how to handle you. When Chavez and Venezuela was in the city about, 4 years ago? You remember when they were here, sister?
No.
Venezuela came to the United States to set up those what are those gas stations? Start with a V. Valeros. Venezuela owns those stations. And they came into the United States. They went to Chicago first, and then they came to Detroit. They offered to do two major things. Number one, all senior citizens would get a bus card that they could ride free. They was going to give the cities free gas to compensate for the senior citizens. Number two, they was going to set up gas stations for the underprivileged poor people so that they would get special credit cards to punch into the thing and they'd get gas at half price, something like that. I saw this. I was a part of this. When the Moors in Detroit found out about it, they came to me. I had a meeting personally with them over on 7 Mile in Detroit, and I told them what I'm getting ready to tell you. You cannot talk to Maureen. Maureen does not want to hear about the revolution. She is a European mentality, and leave it alone. I will deal with Maureen. So when the day comes, That wasn't good enough for them. They went down there to the church where she is, put on them fezzes, went in there, lined up about 10 or 15 of them. I can give you every one of the names. I know who was there. They all went down there. A couple of them had the audacity to go to Chicago to the embassy of the Venezuela's embassy and bang on the gate door to get in to tell Venezuela that they wanted the money to set up the gas stations. Now, I'm telling you facts. I'm telling you facts that I know personally. And I'll tell you when I see you who them people were. And I'll get them people to tell you that they did it. But I got in their butt for doing it. Maureen called me there. She said, Ron, get them off of me. I can't handle them. I don't know how to deal with them. They talking all this stuff, who they are, and they got the paperwork, they got land contracts, they got this, they got that. She said, I've had enough. She has not changed. That's why she and I get along. I don't deal with her from that perspective. That's why I supported her with the United Nations, because it was the fact that they showed up is what I was concerned about. Okay. Is that good enough answer?
I guess so.
Hello?
So in other words, you're saying that she's not really for the people, or she's for certain people.
Okay, from your perspective, since I know you more, I'll agree with you. Only because you said it. She'll tell you she's for all the people.
Okay,
I'm telling you what you just said is true.
But we all know action speaks louder than words.
Correct. And you can get to her if you don't come in with that other language that she don't understand and don't want to understand. But listen to this. When I went to one of the meetings prior to the UN showing up, she had I almost fell out of the chair. She had the audacity to read the UN Declaration of Human Rights, because those repertoires sent her that information and told her to be sure to have the people deal with these information. And then she announced in that meeting that there were 4 countries that did not recognize it, wouldn't do it, and she didn't know why they wouldn't do it. And I stood up and said, I'll tell you what the 4 countries are and tell you why they won't do it. Because they have indigenous people. And the 4 countries were New Zealand, Canada, United States, and Australia. Now, they all say they're going to recognize it now, but for years they never did recognize it. But the girls that came in from the United Nations sent her a memo and said, be sure and read this, because we got to stick to this type of agenda. Now, I'm in that meeting. I tell you who was there that you know. The lady we talked about today that just had the court action. Call her and ask her about what I just told you, because she was at the meeting.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to take no more of your time. I'm going to let the rest of the callers get in. And I thank you very much for taking my call, and I will talk with you later. And thank you very much, Beverly.
Thank you for calling.
All right.
Okay, Ron, we got peace and love. We have another caller, Ron. 301-403.
Yes, Ron. I wanted to say about when you talking about the military, they were using soybeans, and that would change a man to be gay. They would use I think it was the president. Somebody came out with it. Yeah, man. And look, and then on top of that, right? When I just found out about this Jesus crowd, they said that it was a man, a big, tall, 6'7" man named Jerusalem Slim, and he had a big thing on him, and he had 2 women in his life, and they said when he had made love to her, she said Jesus, and then ever since that, that's when they killed him.
Beverly, you know what I mean?
Hey, look, and let me tell you another one. Look. Look, and you right. Look, we've been the butterfly flew in our mouth, right, by the white supreme man, and we've been tainted ever since then, and we still tainted. And look, one more thing, we got to get back to the mother tongue, because if we don't get back to the mother tongue, like you said, these guys out here that you teaching. Hey, is that butterfly gonna fly in their mouth so hard? You ain't gonna dare to tell them nothing.
Beverly.
That's all I got to say.
Thanks, Carlos. We gotta let Ron have a break.
All right, hold on.
Okay.
Yep, I'm back. All right. Let me get back on. I got the music off. All right.
Now that you have had experience with the UN, and for people that are listening to us in other cities, how do you suggest if they want to bring the UN, how should they do it?
Well, there's a gentleman named Robert. Let me get my head on here. His name is Robert Robinson, okay, out of New York. He was instrumental in bringing them into New York in 2009, and he assisted Maureen and company to bring them in Detroit this past weekend. Okay. I would have to get with him. I got all of his connections and stuff. I would have to get with him because he said that they made the same mistake in 2009, and he told me of the mistakes he made, and then he told us that he wanted to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes when that they made. So okay. I understand what he's saying. So what I really want to do is start educating and talking more about the UN, the violation of indigenous people. We got to get out of the Negroism and get dead into revolutionary indigenous violations. We got to do that right away, like yesterday.
It seems like everybody is stuck into the 60s civil rights movement.
Correct. And that's what's made them, the system, and our Uncle Toms and preachers and boulets and all, that's what's made them successful, because we are creating this fictitious base that they can just take anywhere they want to go. And then they reward them, as you know, by different jobs and different positions, and if they get out of line, you know how it works. They get out of line and get too black, they kick them out. Right. So we need to just forget them and forget the civil rights movement and talk about the human rights movement and go there. But now, remember, Bev, we got on the conversation of we must exhaust all of the Europeans' jurisdictional procedures before we can go to the United Nations. Or I shouldn't say it that harsh. We would want to exhaust all of the avenues. Now we know from before we file complaint that they are going to deny us. But that's not good enough if we don't have it on paper. They can always say, well, we didn't know they was having problems in Detroit. The human rights of United States Department of what's his name, Attorney General's office. We would have come in there and made them turn it on had we know it was turned off. That type of mess. They can do that if we don't exhaust all of the avenues and have it on paper that we sent this to them. Now, here's another catch. Whatever you send to be free, I guarantee you there will not be an answer.
Okay.
Got it?
Right.
I don't care what it is. So you have to go register a certified mail and get the green card.
Right.
You don't care if the janitor signed it, his mama, his cousin, the horse, the buggy. You don't give a damn who signed it. As long as you get the green card back that someone acknowledged your transmission or your document. There is a legal phrase that you want to put on all of your documents, and it goes something like this. A notice to the principal is a notice to the agent. A notice to the agent is a notice to the principal. That covers everything. You can't say I didn't get it because Because whoever name's on there, they was on vacation or they don't work here no more. You cannot get around that phrase. A notice to the principal is a notice to the agent, and a notice to the agent is a notice to the principal. Everybody should remember that.
Okay. Now, what happens if no one signs it?
Then you can send a letter to the Postmaster General. That's why all of your post offices are independent. They come out of Hague, or they come out of where they come out of? Somewhere over there in Europe. I'm looking at the address, but I can't give it to you. They come out of somewhere in Europe. You can send a letter directly to them and say that they're not delivering your mail. They don't have a right to refuse you to deliver a letter.
But didn't they change the post office they made it into a corporation too?
Same way they changed the United States of America into United States, Inc.
Right.
It was an illegal move. That's why they had to change everything. Remember, when you went to school, Bev, they told you Michigan was spelled M-I-C-H, period.
Right.
Abbreviation. Kansas State, C-A-N, Illinois, I-L-L, that type of thing. Now it's only 2 letters, all the states. The zip code, there used to be a zone when I was writing letters. I didn't write too many letters, but back in the day there were zones. Now you got a zip code. All the processes of the United Parcel Service is all different than the post office service. They're 2 different things, but they couldn't change the name on the building. You probably never noticed that. Every building that was post office is still post office. But as soon as you go inside, it starts at United Parcel Service, UPS or whatever, USB, right. Whatever it is, all of that crap. And you got people that work there and don't know it, Bev. They do not know they don't work for the post office. Because you can still buy a stamp in the real post office, which is in Washington, D.C. It still costs 3 cents to mail anywhere in the United States.
So you mean if you go to the real post office in Washington, D.C., you can get a stamp that's only 3 cents?
Yes, ma'am. And mail it anywhere you want it to go. But here's the catch. They won't tell you where the post office is. It's probably in the basement of the White House with a sign that says post office. You got to know where that is. Because if you go ask for the post office, they're going to take you right around the corner to the post office. Big old building says post office. Get on in there. You go in there, it says United Parcel Services.
Okay.
See, they cannot change what has already been here. And what's already been here, we did that. The Moors did that. Hundreds of years ago. We discussed that the cutoff date of what they call the Reconstruction, the cutoff date that they used to change everything from black to white was 1861. I can almost give you the date because that's the date they used for the walkout of Congress. They call it Sinai Day. Look that word up. S-I-N-E, one word, D-I-E. Sinai Day, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it will tell you that Sinai Day means that there was a meeting called, but there was no adjournment of the meeting. So no other meeting can be held until that meeting is adjourned. And a date is set for the next meeting. Did you get that?
Yeah. You told us about that. Now, somebody is asking, are you saying principal, P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L?
Yes. Just tell them to put it like I said it, and it will give you. Do I look like a professor in English? I think it's P-L-E on the end. I'm not sure.
P-L-E.
But principal is definitely not the school teacher. I can tell you that. The principal at the school. That's P-A-L. So it's got to be the other one, PLE. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm a high school dropout, and I'm proud of it because I didn't get too much of that damn brainwashing that y'all got with the PhDs. So we're talking about what I say, notice to the principals, notice to the agent. Notice to the agent is notice to the principal. Right. You put that at the top of your letter or at the bottom, you got them. You don't care who gets it. As long as you get that green card back, staple the green card to your original letter, and that original letter, if it's an affidavit, it's got to be notarized. You got them. You got them, sister. You got them. Mm-hmm. And you can take it another step by sending a non-response letter to them and say, I got the green card, but you didn't answer my letter. I gave you 30 days to answer the original. You got 15 days to answer this one. There's a process that has to be used.
Right.
Now, if they don't answer in 15 days, your next letter should say, you are now in default with dishonor.
Okay.
You can take that package with all them green cards and all them original letters and go to court and press charges against that person for whatever you accuse him of. And he is in trouble. But we don't have that patience. We don't have the nerve. We don't have the knowledge and the insight to follow through. I even fail to follow through on a lot of stuff. I be dropping paper almost every day, but I be helping people. But most of my stuff I let go because I'm not doing it. I'm not crying the blues. But most people that want to help, you do more for them than you do for yourself. My wife has to check me every now and then and say, "What? Did you ever get that letter off?" I said, "Oh, I'll get it off today." That type of thing. But you gotta be diligent. You gotta know what you're doing, and there's no law against it. Now, I've heard people say that certain people will write them back, or certain corporations with threats. We're not going to take any more of your stuff. It's frivolous, and if you write us again, we're going to take it to the authorities. It's against the law for them to do that, especially if they're a third-party debt collector, because they crooks from the beginning. Why are they crooks, Bev? Because you don't have a contract with them. Mm-hmm. Your name is not on any piece of paper with their name. And according to the United States Constitution, they call it the Supreme Clause. I think it's Article 4, but I'm not sure. It's Supreme Clause that says you have a right to contract and you have a right not to contract. So you choose not to contract with the law firm because you don't know who they are. Hell with them. I'm not contracting with you. Now I'll contract with the dealership to buy a car because I want that car. But they ain't going to turn it over to a third-party debt collector and try to take the car away from me because, number one, when I signed the paperwork to get the car, I paid for it because I signed the promissory note.
Right.
If we're going to get free, we got to learn these things, and it's simple as hell. But the problem that people are going to have, Ron, I did what you said, and they wrote back and told me they didn't know anything about it. Well, it's not your job to teach them law. Write back and tell them, send it to your law firm, idiot, and stop bugging me. It's not for me to bring you up to date on the law. Now, that ends that. Because the judge will tell you in a minute, when you jam that judge up, he's going to tell you right out back, well, I'm not here to give you any type of law advice. Well, you keep your mouth shut then. When I ask this guy a question, you ain't got nothing to do with it. Boom. Do you have a contract with me? Here's the judge open his mouth. Well, I don't think he. Hey, buddy, didn't I just tell you to can it? Now, y'all know I'm having fun with it, but this is how it's got to work. If you're going to be the lawyer, judge, take that robe off and come down here, and I'll cross-examine you. But notice, no lawyer ever swears in. They make you swear in. Why is that, Beth? And if you ask, the judge going to make up an excuse. Well, you don't think General Motors going to come down here, do you? Yes. General Motors said that I owe them. never made a payment. So I want him to give me a contract with his name on it and General Motors' name on it that would give him permission to take the contract from General Motors and then show me where I signed that I agreed with General Motors to give him the contract. Until then, I ain't got nothing to say to the court. Now they got little gimmicks that they'll do. They did this to my friend. Well, young man, you seem to know quite a bit about law that you said you never studied. So in order for you not to hurt yourself or hurt somebody in the street, I want you to take a psychological crazy test, and I'll make an appointment 45 days. I want you to take that test. Now, my friend told him, yeah, buddy, I'm going to take the test, all right. Walked out in 209. Never took the test. In 211, he got stopped on a traffic violation. They threw his butt in jail because of contempt of court and a default that he didn't go see the psychiatrist back in 209. Now he's locked up, directly locked up. The judge sets the date for the new examination 69 days from the day he went in, and he cannot get out of jail. Because I let him out the first time, and he didn't come, so I'll be damned if I'm going to sign to let him out now. That's a test, y'all. They'll do those type of things.
So what was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to go take the test?
Yes, which he did do after the 69 days, and the psychiatrist said, why are you taking this test? And when he told the psychiatrist, he said, they need to take a test. That's what the psychiatrist told him. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Now that's in his favor because now he can never be called crazy because their court said he wasn't crazy. So we're using it in reverse on them. So whatever he do when he go in court, he can tell the judge to kiss it where the sun don't shine. Judge said, you crazy? No, I ain't, because y'all told me I wasn't.
Well, one thing, they going to keep you on your toes, on your mental toes, because they come at you all kind of ways.
Yes, they do. That's why I tell everybody, and I'm going to say it now, once you start educating yourself on who you are, be sure and pick your battles. Only pick the battles that you know about and can surely win. Don't leap out there with something and don't know what the end result could be. Always pick a battle. And if there's nothing wrong with going into a battle, see where it's getting cloudy and you're not really sure, give up, back up, and then you go ahead and pay the fine or go ahead and do what's got to be done. But you're going to learn that the next time you have that opportunity, you're going to know something about it.
Okay, now, what's going to happen with the findings that the UN found?
Well, they're going to go submit them to the open. The lady said that they're going to go before the open, I don't know how many nations it is, and give the report. And they'll vote on the recommendations, and it would probably be unanimous because everybody knows these ladies know what the hell they're doing. Mm-hmm. Once they get the vote, they're going to send it back to Obama, who will send it to the governor, who will give it to the whoever, and then they'll go on the back golf course and say, well, we got to change our tactics because everybody's looking at us. Mm-hmm. That law firm that's in here, I told them, what was it, about 2 months ago when the United Nations threatened to come in, or the word got out, and the Kevin Orr got nervous and what have you, and then they tried to get out of the contract because they wanted to leave early. Okay, I said to the people, especially Maureen and them, I said that's a damn good move on your part, Maureen, because now Jones Day, which is one of the largest prestigious law firms in the United States, it's going to go against their record. They're going to lose millions of dollars because they came into a city, created a bankruptcy, and brought the United Nations in. What city is going to let them come to them?
So did the United Nations come in?
They was here this weekend.
No, I'm talking about for that. I mean, did anybody bring that complaint up?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
That complaint that you're asking me about was a complaint on turning off the water. They hadn't got as ugly at that point as they had been now, but the complaint was there, and that's why the natives, I don't know the specifics, but I know the Native Americans had something to do with, and the Canadian Americans had something to do with. This is a UN violation because we already been in it as Native Americans. And once it was said, they said, well, we know some people that know some people that we can get into the United Nations and tell somebody. And I believe that's what they did. I wasn't privy to that type of information, but I think that's what happened.
Okay.
And they panicked. And I said to Maureen and other people, I said, that's a good move because Jones Day is going to lose millions of dollars. Because they already know how to go into cities because they learning and practicing on Detroit how to go in and destroy the economy, create a false bankruptcy, and everybody gets rich and then make the people pay. You see what I'm saying?
So now when they come to other towns, because of the information that you're giving, people should have their heads up and they should know how to, get by them or how to play the game.
Any city that think they're in trouble in any area of bankruptcy, I don't care if it's water they're using or whatever they use, any city, and then most of them are in bankruptcy, I would say to them, go online and pull up CAFR, C-A-F-R. Let me get it right. Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Every city, every municipality, every township, every village in the United States have a CAFR. C-A-F-R. Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. That's what it's called, CAFR. Now, the CAFR was set up by the government to prevent bankruptcies. It's illegal to have a bankruptcy. And then somebody told the news media, all of the legal politicians or elected politicians, never bring up the CAFR. You die, you'll lose your election. Do not even mention the word CAFR. And you heard it first from Ron March. All you got to do is look it up. And then you put your city in, and it'll give you the annual report. And every one of them must balance by law. If it don't balance, somebody's going to jail. Every time we went down to talk about the CAFR, they beat us up and run us out of the room. Get out of here with that talk. We tell our lawyers to bring it up. They say they can't because they'll get in trouble. And I know they will.
So when the United Nations was here, so people was able to talk to them about other things besides the water? Was they able to talk about the CAFA, the bankruptcy,
don't forget
the court?
And I got yes. Each area had their. You have to let me ask you to wait until we get the report from them and see how they put it in the categories. I can't tell you that, but I do know this, that every area of descent, there was people assigned to it to get certain information. I know the lawyers were dealing with the bankruptcy and the CAFR. I don't know what they did because they had their reports. Because when they left at the Wayne, what they call it, Y3C?
Wayne County Community College.
WC3? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
When they left down there that day, they had at least 4 boxes of complaints. Not huge, but good-sized boxes. They won't be able to get on the plane with them because they already said they're going to take a handful back to turn it in, but they're going to wait on the shipment of the other ones.
Well, they better, Detroit is known for having boxes disappear and paper switch.
You know I know it. Oh. Guess what? I'm glad you mentioned that. And now you answer the question. Every complaint had to have 6 copies.
Now, 6 copies, huh?
Yes. See, they were aware of that type of stuff. Okay. So if one got messed up, they had another set somewhere. Every copy had to have 6. Yes. When you turned in a complaint, it had to be 4 copies made of your complaint.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
So that CAFR job rule, which will tell you what the balance is, where it's at, and all that. They're not allowed to overspend anything that's going to knock the budget out of whack. That's why they use the report. They never said, budget. What's another word for budget? Financial report. They always said the budget was off. They never said the financial report was off because it never is. But they can use trickery with the budget and play with figures and make it do anything they want it to do. So they're not really lying. They're just telling you that the budget is bankrupt because you got a couple of idiots that's running it. But the financial...
But now, do anybody know what's the consequences? Okay, you got these people that got their hands and their foot and their arms caught in the cookie jar. So what is the consequences if all of this is found? Do anybody know, or have the UN,
Well, let's look at it like this. If I'm the Attorney General and you, Beverly, are buying my old ugly books that I keep writing and paying $100 a book, and you're the mayor of Detroit, why would I care about the balance of the coffer? If nobody's complaining, see, this is something everybody got to understand. If there's a crime going on, everybody sees the crime, but nobody has brought charges, there's no crime. That's why they told them, don't even talk about the CAFR. Because once you bring up the CAFR, it's got to be put on record, and if it's on record, you can demand that CAFR be shown in your discovery.
Gotcha.
And this is why they want all complaints and all legal action to be dealt with by lawyers, because they own the lawyers. And the lawyers belong to the Queen.
Yeah.
So you can see a complaint all day long. But if ain't nobody filed charges on the complaint, that's just like with your foreclosures. Everybody puts in the foreclosure. We want to see the promissory note. The judges and them come up with a reason why you don't need to see the promissory note, because you didn't pay for the house. That's an old argument that they used to use. When you say, show me the note, that's like if I come to you and I owe you $1,000 and I'm paying you $1,000. I owe you $1,000 and you got my IOU and I'm paying you $5 a week. So on the 15th week, I say to you, Bev, let me see if you still got that promissory note. You don't have to show me the promissory note. You say you'll get that when you pay it off.
Right. Yeah.
That's one of the tricks that they use. Now, if you're going into bankruptcy and you're going to lose your house, it's paid off. Now I want my promissory note. Nobody thinks about it at that point, because nobody's going to bring it up. You could use the promissory note while you were in the house to stay in the house. But once they get you out of the house, you forget about the promissory note. You're trying to find somewhere to live, trying to fight your wife or your husband that we done messed up, something, all kinds of things happen once they execute a crime or punishment. Once they execute punishment, your whole mental concept changes. Good punishment, bad punishment, it don't matter. Whatever it is. Oof. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when did they say that you will get an answer? When did they say you will hear back from the UN?
Well, they didn't give a specific answer, but they said they would turn it in, and they're talking about at least a 30-day turnaround to have it completed within that 30 days. They didn't say nothing about. Could have asked them, which some some of the people did that had the authority to ask. Are you going to put that in your report? Yes. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I want to say to you that they'll put in the report what I said, but I don't know if they will or not. But I want to send them, if I don't get it this time, I want to set it up with all these foreclosures. All the people's got to do is sign on with their affidavit. We could turn in 10,000 affidavits that they stole our promissory note, and we paid for the house when we bought it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So next time when a person or group brings the UN in, they need to put on the agenda everywhere that they want them to go. So if they want them to do a TV spot, or they want them to do radio, or they got to have also, that's important to know.
Yes, it's got to be approved by the, not only United Nations would approve it, which they probably will. It's got to be approved by the state that you're going into, and maybe even the city. I don't know. But I
now, why would a city and the state approve it when they the crooks, when the complaint is against them?
Yeah. Well, it's not that the complaint. You're not asking for the complaint. You asking that when I come into your city, which you've given me permission, can I do a radio interview? Okay. Now they may say yes if you go to Channel 7, because we own Channel 7.
Right.
And they're only going to ask. You see what I'm saying? They're only going to ask softball questions. You know, I'm giving you an example. I don't know how it works, but that's how it could work. You know.
Okay.
But what we were doing was completely out of whack, because they already own all of the TV programs. So there was no need for anybody to ask to go on TV, because they would blow their hand before it was time to blow their hand. That's why Maureen set it up, that we're going to do 2 days of street talk, and then the third day go see them crooks. And that's what made the crooks. That's what made the crooks mad, because they had already seen all the damage when they got to the so-called good guys, and they said, "Well, you didn't do it fair. You wasn't fair. You should have come to us first," and all that. Your agenda seems to be a self-serving agenda. All of that kind of stuff. What else can they say?
Right.
Ain't nothing else they can say but go along with that crap. You know what I mean? Woof. Yep.
Well, that was good. You know, I understand why you say you enjoyed yourself this weekend, because y'all have really gave the crooks a hard time. They've been having it real easy.
You got that right. And I'm gonna give the Moors a hard time, because we got a lot of work to do.
How to educate the people. Yeah.
We got to educate the people. Yes, we do. It's all of our responsibility to educate them. Okay?
Yeah, that's true.
We got a lot of sleep people. We got a lot of people that didn't even know the United Nations was in the city. You know that. Well, that ain't bad, because nobody even broadcasted.
That's what I'm saying.
Website,
right.
Yep.
Right. So you did good.
Bev, listen to this. I almost forgot. There was a state representative at the Saturday. It went to the teachers union down on Lafayette. Asked me. We had the meeting down there. And when I got through with my presentation, I was coming up, and this young lady confronted me. She said, "I don't know if you know me, but my name is Garrett." And I said, "No." And she said, "I just heard what you said. Are you telling me that my house was paid for?" Bev, she took me through the third degree, and I laid it out. And I said, "Who did you say you were?" She said her name was Garrett, and she is a state representative out of District 7.
Okay.
So then I started backpedaling. I said, "Now listen to me carefully. What I'm telling you is true, and I'll tell you and show you where to go get it. But do not go up there in Lansing and start talking this crap. They will run you out, and you'll never get reelected. They only send, why? They only send people up there that are dummies or don't know what they're doing.
Right.
They don't send people like me up there." She said, "Well, you should be in every church telling this out every week." I said, "Oh, lady, they'll whoop them preachers' butt if they let me in their church."
They'll take them 501c3s back.
Yes,
whatever you call it.
Yes. And I said, you with you being as naive as you are, I feel sorry for you because you're going to wake up because what you heard. Now you better learn how to use it.
Yes.
Here's my card. If you need any help, here's my card. I gave her my card. I should have got her card, but I didn't. I forgot. I didn't get her card. But I know who she is and I know where she is. And if I ever see her or have need to get to her, I know how to do it. But I don't want to ruin her career. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even by them seeing me talk to her, they'll ask, what was he talking about? That type of thing. To see if she going to wake up. That's how shallow our graves are, ladies and gentlemen. You can be awakened just by talking to an individual. It's like a bulb come on. Bing! Yeah. Say, damn. Unbelievable. I gave my wife a book. She read first pages, threw the book down. I said, what's wrong? She said, I don't believe what I just read. I said, read it again. She won't give me the book back. She reads it every day. I said, are you going to give it back? No. And every time I look at him, I get so mad I want to do something to him. I said, well, that's why I didn't want to give it to you. Because all it does is make you mad when you see what they're doing and you know what they're doing is wrong. And they do it every day. And your people that are dumb go along with it. That's the worst thing. That's hell to me. To live among ignorant people that are getting misused and they don't know they're being misused.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why Sojourner Truth said, if I only got 300 out, I could have got 3 million if I could have figured out how to convince them that they were slaves.
And now you see what she's talking about. You see it firsthand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Unbelievable, man. All right, good sister.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ron, for the update, and we'll talk next Wednesday, and you will continue to give us the update on what's going on and educate us about the UN. I think that was a brilliant move that Maureen Taylor and everybody did. They have to keep that them ammunitions coming at them.
Yeah, and make sure you say, I don't care if they socialist by any means necessary. Free me. They can be socialists, Uncle Toms. They can be whatever they want to be. But if they're going to make a move like this, I'm in favor of them.
Yeah.
And we all got to remember that.
Yeah. Well, what I love about it is that the people that are listening in the other states, they got firsthand information and they learning how to make moves like that. You got to know how to fight the battle. And so we're learning, we're waking up.
Yes.
Thank
right,
you, Ron. Thank you. Talk to you next Wednesday.
All right. Peace and love.